The United Nations new human rights chief has condemned the death sentence of 75 people in Egypt following another mass trial over the 2013 pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in, which ended with the killings of hundreds of protesters. Michelle Bachelet urged Egypt's appeals court to overturn the sentences handed down by a lower court in what she describes as an unfair trial. The mass trial included 739 people charged after the violent dispersal of a protest camp in support of former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi. Amnesty International alleges that at least 900 protesters were killed by security forces in the crackdown. Joining us now is Barrister Collins Okeke, a human rights lawyer. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, was it fair to have handed death sentences knowing the peculiarities of Egypt's situation back then in 2013?
Well, clearly you can see that it is very unfair because if you recall what happened, it was a group of people resisting a military coup. And if there was going to be any form of punishment for what happened on that day, it should have been both sides should have been brought before the criminal justice system. But unfortunately, it looks as if it's just one side that the government is dealing with. So clearly, it is very unfair. And I think what this case illustrates is the dangers of application of the death penalty. Because clearly, in this case, you can see that the death penalty has been politicized and used against a particular group of people because of their resistance or their opposition to the government in power.
According to Amnesty International, at least 900 protesters were killed by security forces in the 2013 crackdown. The director says not a single police officer has been brought to account for the killings. Shouldn't the government visit that to balance this whole equation?
That, for me, is the tragedy of the entire situation. You would have expected that if the government was truly interested in dealing with the conflicts of 2013, they would have at least brought before the criminal justice system security agencies who killed over 800 people on that day, and those members of the Muslim Brotherhood who were also involved in violence on that day. But tragically, like you've seen playing out, it appears as if the government is only interested in members of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay, let's talk about that period in Egypt's history and compare that with the present. Aren't the governments similar and aren't the conditions the same?
Well, if you ask me, I think that conditions are actually getting worse with the treatment of journalists, arrests, enforced disappearances and all. So I think compared to even the time of Hosni Mubarak, I think things are really, really getting worse in Egypt. And I'm surprised that the international community is still turning a blind eye to what President Sisi is doing in Egypt.
Human rights lawyer, Barrister Collins Okeke, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.